Knon 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people. Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Church Information and Open Forum, 89.3 FM, Voice of the People. I'm the Reverend Ronald, Wright, Executive Director of Justice Seekers Texas, Senior Pastor of God's Community Church of Joy, located at 7513 Luster Drive. I'm here sitting in for my brother and my pastor and my friend and chairman of the board, Reverend Marion Barnett, who's out on vacation, and we're praying that he's having a very, very, very good vacation. Got a great show this morning, got an open microphone, but also it is our pledge drive week. And we got several things that are going on. I'll tell you something new that KNON now has a bank draft. And it works at all the local banks at Next Bank. You can call us now and tell us you would like to start a bank draft, and you can do it with your checking or saving account. And automatically monthly drafts will occur from your account. You could have it deducted at the first of the month, at the third of the month, or the middle of the month, or the end of the month. It's easy. You select the amount to come from the account every month, a pledge $1 a day to keep KNON on the air every day. That's only $30 a month, drafted automatically. And there are several more we'll get in touch with you about. But this is one of the only open community forum radio stations where you have the voice of the people. And so we're going to need your pledge drives this morning. We got a great show, like I said, open mic this morning. Let's talk about several things. One, we'll talk about the immigration children being denied to come to Dallas County. Talk about our commissioner's investigation. Why do we think, and I say this because some have said they thought it was pretty racial for him to attack the Dallas County commissioner, and I want to hear your opinion on that because for some of us, we don't think race have anything to do with it. And to ask you all, what happens if we do find out that the commissioner has been found guilty on some of those charges? What point will we start holding our elected officials accountable, especially those African-American officials? So you can give us a call this morning at 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. Again, this is our pledge drive week. We're gonna surprise Reverend Barnett. Y'all go ahead and fill up the banks before we get in here with lots of money. But you can give us a call. We had this week we heard from the news that Dallas County, the federal government denied Dallas County from bringing in the immigration children. I want to get your opinion on it. What do you think of that? One of the things is I know that our commissioner never, our elected officials never talked to anybody in the community about if that was okay and what do we need to do. It's amazing how we can shut our schools down for one thing, but we can automatically open them for something else. But anyway, I want to get your opinion on that today. We want to also send our condolences to former Dallas Cowboy NFL running back Robert Newhouse, who passed away last week, and they buried him on yesterday. Newhouse was a great running back for the Dallas Cowboys, and so our hearts and prayers go out to his family this week for his homegoing celebration. Got another question there. What's going on with our leaders in our community? And I'm not talking about just elected officials, some of my brothers in the clergy. What is it that they're doing that they shouldn't be doing? Also, we had an interesting press conference on last week about 7-Eleven stores and how they're not supplying security here in Dallas. We don't know about anywhere else. For the safety of their employees as well as their customers. Isaac Bagindu was kidnapped at a 7-Eleven store last year, 2013, and he was murdered two blocks down the street. And, of course, we've had a couple of killings this year in 2013 of employees of the 7-Eleven store. So we're going to hear from Joseph Bagindu. Thank you, Doc. Doc's in the house. Greatest cough in the world. We're going to hear from Joseph Bagindu, the father of Isaac Bagindu, this morning as to what the expectation is and what we as customers of 7-Eleven expect for them to do as far as our safety. And I mean, we go in there because they got the greatest little cheeseburger hot dogs in the world. They do. I go eat those. They are good. But we want to make sure we're safe. We've had 2 killings this year, one in Garland, of course, where they've been gunned down. And so, of course, we want to definitely always stop the violence, but we want to make sure that we're safe when we go to shop at any of these stores. And unfortunately for Isaac Bagindu, he was getting off of work. And as he was getting off of work, he was kidnapped. Now, the sad part about that, these guys, they found the suspects who kidnapped and killed Isaac, but 2 days prior, they had killed another young man. And so, you know, the family is, they're a little upset because, I mean, I don't think 7-Eleven said we were sorry or apologize, anything like that, from what the family's telling me. But anyway, they're going to, Joseph Bagindu is going to be on the show today to talk about the rally that they're going to have against 7-Eleven on how to upgrade the security and safety for not only their employees, but for their customers as well. We got a story on Jason Harrison, who was choked to death by the New York Police Department. They found that his cause of death was a homicide. So that's going to be interesting. Another situation where the police take advantage of a situation. But you can give us a call, 972-647-1893. Open mic, 972-647-1893. And like I said, we are taking up pledges this morning, and we need your pledge drive. You know, Reverend Barnett's show gets a lot of the information out to the community, and so don't let my lines not light up today. And if we got that Tony online, I'm sorry, it's okay. Tony on line 2. Let's go to Tony. Good morning, Tony. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good this morning. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
All right.
What I wanted to talk about is the dollar price and the conspiracy that you brought up.
Say it again.
I want to talk about a dollar price and the elected officials. You said what the elected officials, what are they right now, as far as clergy and everyday, you know, people, whatever. Anyway, my thing is, I don't think that John's going to be prosecuted on the bribery charge or the other charges. The 2 charges that I think they're going to get him on, and they get most officers like Capone on tax evasion. That is the easiest charge that they can take him on because he has cash, and there's no way they wouldn't tax. Number 1. Number 2 is if he's mail fraud, that's going to be the second charge that he can tax. He can get in his own. Other charges, they don't have it. They don't know unless one of the 2 ladies will on. That's just the reality. Once, you know, if one of those 2 ladies break and tell, that's where, you know, they have dollar price. Well, what's going to happen if he's found guilty of any charges is there's going to be a mad dash for that position, commissioner position. And I think right now, he's sitting in the wing, Dwayne Caraway. You know, he might not see it, and he's not going to make a public decision because politically he cannot see it. But part of it is because...
But let me ask you a question. Because of what this city council has done over the last 2 or 3 years, do you think Dwayne has a chance of running, not just Dwayne, but any of those council members having a chance of running and winning any other seat in this city?
Well, part of it is they only, you know, their name is big in Dallas, but a commissioner seat is Dallas County. It's
right.
County part. So they got to come to this side of town and convince us that what they did in the city was right and was questionable. And my thing is, I question all 3 or 4 of them. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. You know, I live in Minnesota, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, you know, I'm in the city of Dallas and all this stuff. But I do watch city Dallas politics. I've been here all my life. But my point is this: there are young guns who want that position. And I was for someone young who's a novice at it to get in. John was, he was young, not necessarily because, they're young, but because, the reality is this. We know the pattern for who have been elected already.
Well, let me ask you a question while you said it, and because I was going to ask you, since you're in DeSoto, if you could name some of the things that any of the commissioners, any of the councilmen have done, and of course I know Dwayne with the plastic bags, but at what point, and I agree with you, because the baton needs to be passed to the next generation, but it doesn't matter if we don't hold these elected accountable positions that look like us. I'm talking about black elected officials.
Yes.
If we don't hold them accountable. And we haven't done that, and because we haven't done that, they've done and made choices and done things for themselves personally, but they've done absolutely nothing for the community.
Well, see, I'm 43. I'm going to give you my age, so, there's no fault to what I'm saying. The reality is that black elected officials, when they first went into office, they had the purest intent to do right by the community. But the reality is that you only one vote of a group of people, and you have to play politics. But at the end of the day, a lot of these people use fear for us to vote one way when they need something done. And then, as citizens, we don't keep abreast of the stuff that's going on in our community, and it's our fault because you're right. We should hold these elected officials accountable. But at the end of the day, they say, "Well, we fight on your behalf." In some ways, you are, but to be a politician by nature, you have to be selfish, almost arrogant, and basically a lie in a sense, because at the end of the day, there are very few houses going to tell you the straight truth.
Let me ask you another quick question. Okay, now, since we don't hold them accountable, should our leaders, and when I say leaders, I mean my brothers in the clergy, who, if we could accept your money for offering, we should be able to advise you and teach you things on what you need to do. Are we being held accountable for the things that we need to do as it relates to of elected officials? I mean, who people come to your house and want you to vote for them, but what do you expect for them to do when you vote for them?
Well, when it comes to pastors, I think part of the issue is that they come in a catch-22 situation. One, they're leaders by nature because they're leader of a church or whatever.
Right.
And at the same time, they allow the elected officials to speak at a podium in their church. So you basically endorse them when you do that. Now, this is my anecdotal theory, what's wrong with the black community as a whole. And to me, the middle class and the upper class, blacks, and the political class, they had that class, have abandoned before. They want to be so inclusive to the white community to the point where they, and I say they, and I'm counting me in that group, I say myself out of that group, have abandoned the least of us.
Oh.
And the first thing we do is we say, young people, those people, like we were white people in a sense, black people this, Negroes that. And the fact of it is, the problem with Black America right now, part of it is racist. The biggest part of it is middle class blacks and upper class blacks have naturally abandoned the poor. And that's the whole problem with us right now.
Okay, so in other words, we're our own worst enemy. Is that what you're trying to say? All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Tony, for your call. You can give us a call, 972-647-1893. Remember, this is our Pledge Week. KNON, Elite Music sponsors. You can get a pair of tickets to every KNON benefit for an entire year. KNON has like 40 to 50 shows every year, and we are your live music radio station. We play great music on your radio, bring great music to local stages, and don't miss any of our shows with the Elite Music sponsor package. And the type of events brought to you by KNON is live music at the Sons of Herman Hall, Poor David's Pub, Texas Theater, Thanksgiving breakfast in the Knon Live Music Room, the Red Elvis, Crawfish Brawl, Chili Cook-Offs, car shows. So we need your tax-deductible pledges, and you can call them in at 972-647-1893. And like I said, we are starting the initial Knon bank draft, and you can sign up for that bank draft. And just give us a call, and we'll give you that information. And if you want to pledge $1 a day, that's $30 a month for Knon, and that'll keep us on the air. The voice of the people. It's amazing that Colin made a great call, and at the end of the day, he holds us responsible for the things that have been done to ourselves, and so can't blame anybody for doing anything to our local officials if we don't hold them accountable ourselves. If I ask you to vote for me, and you vote for me, and you don't tell me anything to do, then I don't have to do anything, unfortunately. But you would expect anybody running to look out for you, but apparently that is not the case. So you guys can give us a call. Like I said, 972-647-1893. Don't be shy. Give us a call and give us a little pledge donation, and you don't have to pay it now. You've got a couple of days or so before you had to pay you got 3 weeks, 3 months to pay it. So yeah, come on, give us a call. Give us a call in here and make those tax-deductible pledges. The more you call, the more you get to hear the voice of the people, and the more you get a chance to hear your complaints on some of the things that are going on. Another one of the situation issues we're talking about, even though we're talking about Commissioner Price, I think one of the Channel 8 done a story on one of the young ladies that was helping, that was involved with Commissioner Price, and Brett Shipp done a pretty decent story. But at the end of the day, it's going to all be about accountability. I don't think it has anything to do with race. I think it has to do with right and wrong. And then if the commission comes out right with this, then that's a good deal for him. But at the end of the day, before we make a judgment, and even though, we've had some so-called leaders in certain communities making a voice, and that's good, you stand up. But when you find out that what was done wrong, what are you going to stand up and say then? So that's why it's time for us to be, that's why it's just about, it's time for us to not just stand back silently, because we tell you all the time in neutrality, because neutrality helps the tormentor and not the tormented. But we're going to make sure that in order for us to be a voice, we stand up for justice. We're just about ready for a break, or we're on our way to a break. Got a few seconds. While we're getting ready to go to the break, I want you to give us a call, 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. We need your tax-deductible pledges today. Give us a call. All right, we're back. We're back to Church Information Open Forum 89.3 FM. Voice of the people. I am Reverend Wright, sitting in for Reverend Marion Barnett this morning while he's on vacation. Again, we're on our pledge drive. You can give us a call at 972-647-1893. And then we've got open mic this morning. You can also give us a call, 972-647-1893. Got Joe producing, and Doc is in the house with me this morning. So give us a call this morning and tell us what's on your mind. Want to also let you know that KNOK now has the text pledging. You can text KNON to 56512 and make your pledge right now. Again, it's text KNON to from 56512. You'll get the KNON pledge form sent to your phone. Let us know your favorite music, your favorite DJ on KNON, or the favorite show, and make your pledge on the phone. Again, you can text KNON. In other words, that's to 56512. Give us a call this morning. We got an open mic show this morning again, and we're doing tax-deductible pledges. We're not only we're discussing our county, the results of what's going on so far with the county commission, and right now we want to also talk about the immigration situation where Dallas, federal denied Dallas County from bringing the children on. Want to know what you think about that? Who we got online for? Is that Big Ed online for? Come on in, Big Ed. Good morning, Big Ed.
Good morning.
How you doing this morning?
I'm blessed. But I was going to say that I don't know if Commissioner Price is guilty or not, but I say this here. Just like about DIC. They come to take DIC back with that homeschool stuff. And I tell you another thing. they want Mr. Price seat. Now they can't vote him out. There's another way to get him out but to put him out. But I don't know if they get it or not. And I say about the kids coming over.
Well, let me ask something about that right quick. But before you talk about, even if they put him out, we still have to stand up and be a voice and vote who we want back in.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like you said a while ago. Yeah, we vote them in, but sometimes I heard a person say one day, said, some of them is for self. Some of them ain't around them either. Some of them are locked up. But I pray that things they would do better by everybody.
Right.
Not just us, you know. But
you know, when you said some of them are for self, that might be the situation we deal with now. But that, at what point will we start holding people accountable? As a matter of fact, Juanita Wallace was here last week from the NAACP, and they were discussing, and they're putting together a pack, and we're going to start holding people accountable before they elect them, and that's going to start taking place this year, because we're going to have to start passing the baton and training people to take our positions when we leave, opposed to us wanting to stay until God calls us home or until we do something screwed up, and then we start back over from ground zero. And so,
and I appreciate you being open. I'm telling you another thing. But I agree with you. I just him. Another thing. Now, some of us, and it's true, we get stuck on stupid. Some of us like pilot. We just go along just to get along.
Okay. Okay.
You have a blessed day, brother.
All right, then you have a blessed day, too.
About them kids, I'm glad they didn't come, but if they did, I was hoping to get them some health shots. You feel me?
Okay.
But it worked out for the best, I believe it did.
Okay, then. All right.
Bless.
Thank you for your call. All right, you can give us a call, 972-647-1893. And don't forget, this is our pledge week, and we need some pledges coming in. You don't have to pay them today, but at least call in and give us, you got 3 months to get that pledge in. So just go ahead and give us a call, 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 1 and talk to Black Hawk. Good morning, Black Hawk.
Hey, Ronald, Wright, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing, sir?
I will tell you, I appreciate the work, and you're doing a good job in Fruitdale. That's where I grew up at, Fruitdale,
yes,
on
sir.
Seed Street.
Yes,
I also leading up my dogs behind W. Bush and Park, Lafayette. So I just want to tell you, I appreciate your work you're doing now at the fitness station over to, and all like that. I tried to organize that area a long time ago, but I could not get the ministers in that area to work with me. Well, the world, over at Bounce Baptist Church, Williams, at the Holy Cross Church, Baptist Church of Fordham, I couldn't get no minister out there to work with me.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that was?
I think it's the lack of apathy in our community, the whole Dallas community, Dallas County, apathy. People ask me that question all the time. What's wrong with black people in Dallas? Why don't they vote? Why don't you do this? I think it's apathy. I used to be with old man Al Liscombe, Deacon Liscombe, L.C. Higgins, J.B. Jackson, Joe Price.
Al was my pawpaw.
Huh?
Al Liscombe was my pawpaw.
Do you know me?
As a young man.
Al Smith, do you know me? Jesse, Jeffrey, Daniel, Levette.
Probably do.
Thomas Speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know me?
Yeah, yes I do.
You know Al Smith, I used to be with him all the time at this time down the information center. I was volunteering down there for him. And Jody, you remember Jody?
Yes, I do.
Secretary, you remember Jody? She did. Everybody did. I think I'm about the last volunteer from the South Down Information Center living.
Is that right?
I think I'm about the only one.
We don't have facilities like that anymore, and that's what we need, because that's what brought our communities together.
Yes, Deacon Lipscomb taught me how to clown, man.
Listen.
Yeah. I've been beat up by the police out of Provost Fort Grill, the old police, Michigan police, David Lopez, hit me upside the head with a gun and took me to Greeno. So I've been in Greeno several times. And they held me against my will without the writ of habeas corpus.
Oh, all right, Black Howard. Well, I appreciate for what you've been doing.
My letter. I'm sending you a picture of my grandmother, and my grandmother, she was Indian. And
Okay.
I see pictures. I got it mail today. I put the mail today, and you should be getting my letters about that area out there. A fruit there, bad area now. 75216.
Okay.
It wasn't like that when I first moved out there.
Well, we'll look into it.
God bless you. Tell Brother Burnett, whom I know for years, hello.
All right, I'll tell him he's on vacation. Thank you. Thank you for your call, Black Hawk. Yeah, you can give us a call, 972-647-1893. If you got issues and situations that you think you might need some problem with, you can call Justice Seekers Texas as well at 214-779-3549, the 21st Century Civil Rights and Social Justice Organization. What is it going to take for us to get together and organize as a people? And we do have pledge drives going. Come on, give us a call and give us a pledge line. Let's go to line 2. We got Doc on line 2.
Yeah, this is Doc.
Good morning, Doc.
On Commissioner Price.
Okay.
I like to say Commissioner Price is not a bad person. He's been endorsing a lot of people in the past years. He endorsed Lupe Valdez.
Turn your radio down because we're getting the feedback from your radio.
Okay, hold on just a minute. Hold on just a minute.
Okay, that's much better.
Yeah. He endorsed quite a few people in the past few years.
Okay.
And on this investigation, you know, if a person looks long enough, they're going to find someone. If they keep looking, you know, they took money out of Commissioner Price's safe. The cars he got, of course, he could have bought those cars at an auction.
Well, as a matter of fact, the one that he got in trouble about, he did buy it at an auction, but the auction took place at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, how many auctions you done been to at 3 o'clock in the morning?
But, you know, a lot of things they are fighting him on, I really don't agree with. And then the white counterparts, they pick at him and do, and Commissioner Price have always stood up for himself. But
well, hopefully he's not convicted of anything.
Hopefully he's not convicted. I mean, 3 years ago, they investigated him. Why is it taking so long for?
Always take long when the federal government indicts you. Same way with Dunhill. It takes a minute, and it takes longer if you've done a lot of corruptive things. It takes longer to get you. And so, but it's 2 or 3 years is not, and that's what people understand. That's not long for the FBI to invest you. But I will tell you this much: if they launch an investigation on you and they indict you, chances are they got you.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately,
I hope they don't have him though, because I mean, he marched and he stood up for a lot of people. He went down to the school board, spoke. He even went out to Laura Miller's house when she was having all those city council people investigated and fired the chief of police.
Which chief of police did she fire?
Bolton.
Terrell Bolton. Now let me ask you something. What did you think about? You know, Terrell ended up going to Atlanta and getting the job.
Yeah, but he didn't keep it long.
He lost that job as well because he was coming back and forth to Dallas. And from my understanding, doing some things that he shouldn't have been doing, but he could have gotten help had he let somebody know what he needed to be getting done.
Yeah.
So with that being said, and none of us are perfect, and I know the commissioner's not perfect, but making a mistake is one thing, but doing corruptible things is something totally different. And so a lot of people working on compassion. This is not about black and white. This is about right and wrong.
Yeah,
and if they find out that what you did was wrong, you got to be held accountable for it. Because just like you would be held accountable for it, and I would be held accountable for it.
I have to give him a lot of credit. He has this, Wonder Fest. A lot of corporate sponsors, you know, came in on that. And they
well, that's what kind of got him in trouble because he never turned any of that money into the IRS.
Is that right?
Yeah, and they were charging quite a bit for those booths that were being used at that Hombre Fest, and a lot of the constables were saying that they were being forced to work and were not getting paid.
Wasn't getting paid.
Yeah, and so at the end of the day, it's going to be about right and wrong, and hopefully we hope that maybe he's not indicted on anything and they don't have anything against him, and that'll be good and wonderful, but I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah, I'm not either, but I hope we don't get him. We don't have anybody else downtown that's going.
Well, we got to start. We got to start putting them downtown. We got to clean up down. Sometimes you have to do spring cleaning in your house, and that's what we got to do downtown. And that's in
then,
every position, not just the county commissioner's court, but in all the rest of the positions as well, because there's been no accountability. If I don't know what part of town you stay in, but if you look toward the southern sector, there's still nothing there. And I've been in Dallas all my life, and not one thing has been built in the southern part of Dallas other than chicken places and McDonald's and those places that health-wise is killing you.
They got to start holding Dwayne accountable, because I don't see anything he's doing. He's been there for quite a while.
Well, Dwayne said don't throw those plastic bags everywhere.
Well, I know about those plastic bags. I mean, he want to have the ordinance charge people for plastic bags. That's kind of silly, I think, when he should be doing other things.
It's about accountability. You got to hold him accountable.
I saw him on TV. They got him out there about this cleanup and everything.
It's about accountability. Until we start holding our elected officials accountable, we can't blame anybody else. News media tells me, Reverend Wright, why are you complaining? You got a black chief of police. What are you complaining about the police department for? You got a black district attorney. Why are you complaining about the district attorney's office for? And so we have to hold our own accountable.
Well, they are doing things like the district attorney getting a lot of people off.
Well, and that's what a lot of things you guys need to understand is that the Innocent Project is responsible for exonerations, and not the district attorney's office. And see, people have been led to believe that it was the DA that done that, but the district attorney's office is the one that prosecutes them. They're not the one that exonerates them. The process is you have to go through the district attorney's office, and if they want to put up a fight, they will, but this district attorney hasn't put up a fight because the cases were proven that these guys were innocent. But that process came through the Innocence Project. It had nothing to do with Dallas County. Well, it does, because Dallas County district attorney didn't put up a fight.
Yeah.
And so,
during the time when Royce West and Commissioner Price were having these different meetings and things to try to help, I have to give Commissioner Price a lot of credit. He's done a lot of things now.
Well, let me tell you, we asked last week, and I got another.
They got him. I mean,
we asked what did he do since he's been in there, and one person only called us last week, so I guess I better ask you that question.
What's that?
What has he done since he's been in there for the community? I had one caller call in last week and said that he helped build a prison for young black men who are now in it right now. And so I'm going to ask you what else. Yeah, the prison out in Hutchins. So I'm going to ask you what else has he done since he's been in there for the community?
Well, I can't pinpoint a lot of things that he's done.
Okay, just give us one.
I can't pinpoint a lot of things he's done, but he stood up for us, and he endorsed a lot of people. Long before he got in trouble, people asking for his endorsement.
Yeah. When you say he stood up for us, he stood up for us how?
A lot of people to get in office, but the commissioner has been in that going almost 30 years.
Yes, he has been in there, and you know what? Let me ask you
that's one of the things
let me ask a quick question before I hear. Do you know what the job is of the commissioner?
No, I don't know all of those things.
His job is to create economic development throughout Dallas County. That's under the commissioner's court. When they tried to build the inland port, the commissioner was a part of a group that stopped that, and that would have created 30,000 jobs in the southern sector. And that's not to say that black folk would have got 30,000 jobs, but if black families would have got 500 jobs, that would have been 500 families that wouldn't be struggling like they're struggling right now. And it was because of that group and the commissioner was the one that said that we didn't want jobs, we wanted ownership. And they charged these guys asked them for $500,000 each, and 1% of the inland port. That shut down that whole operation, and that whole operation would have been went along the borders of the southern sector of Oak Cliff and would have created a whole bunch of jobs. And because of that, it didn't. And so every time I look out, like I said, I'm from Dallas. When I look out towards the southern sector, there has not been one thing built under the watch of the auspice under this commissioner. I thank you for your call.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Again, you guys can give us a call, 972-647-1893. Come on, Doc, and talk to him.
All right. We're cooking finally. Yeah, I hope Reverend Barnett is listening to the program just to make sure, but I want to make him jealous because I just placed a large cup of coffee, Knon coffee in front of you. And that was one of his privileges whenever I was working with him, was I would bring my Knon coffee and cook it up for him. But you can get that same thing from us. We sell little bags of Knon coffee. One bag is $30, but the best buy is you get 2 for $50. And we'll put it out there real quick for you.
Okay.
You can give me a pledge. Oh, we got 1 minute? Okay. Well, I guess that's about it. You can take a pledge. We have 3 or 4 different pledges. Give me a call, 972-647-1893. There's no limit on the phone calls.
It's good coffee. You give him a call. All right, we're back at Church Information Open Forum 89.3 FM, Voice of the People. I'm Reverend Ronald Wright, sitting in for Reverend Miriam Barnett. Joe's our producer, and I got Doc here with me with the best coffee in town. You guys need to make a donation so you can pledge and you can get this coffee. Got a great show, open forum, open mic show. We're discussing, and a lot of people are discussing the commissioner, but the immigration situation, as well as we're going to have a call on second half hour from Joseph Bugendu on the killings of 7-Eleven employees over the last couple of years and their security and safety. But let's go to line 1 and say good morning to Leon from downtown Dallas. Line 3, I'm sorry.
Good morning.
Good morning, Leon. How you doing?
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to ask you a question about a comment you just made about wanting 1% ownership of something that was supposed to go in. Can you repeat that one more time? So
During the course of the inland port situation that came in, it was said that there were 5 of them involved with the little group that talked with the inland port group, and they said that blacks didn't want jobs; they needed ownership. And a part of the deal was, and you'll hear this again, I'm sure, during the trial of the commissioners, that they wanted each one of them to get $500,000 each, and they wanted 1% of the inland port.
Okay, I don't understand what getting $500,000 each year.
Well, that was for the group. That was a group that was put together that's supposed to have been talking with the Allen group as far as setting up the inland port. How that group got together, I'll never know. But in order for the inland port to exist, it had to go through county commissioner's court.
Okay, and you're saying that they had to pay each commissioner $500,000?
No. It wasn't the commissioners. It was one commissioner. It was the list was one commissioner, Pettis Norman. I know Willis Johnson was the one that was doing the requesting for it. It was a little group. It wasn't the commissioners, because John was the only commissioner on there. And I'm not sure at one point, but it was said it was Ross, but I don't think Ross had anything to do with it either. I mean, I don't think Ross was on there as well. But it wasn't the commissioners that asked for that money. There was a little group.
Okay, so you're saying was John Wilder Price in that little group?
Yes, he was.
Okay, that means he was a commissioner. Was he or was he not?
Yes, he was.
Okay, so that means a commissioner was in the group.
Correct.
Okay, now I don't have a problem with ownership, because black people don't own anything in this country. I mean, you know,
you make a very valid point. And
if I can get this in here,
go ahead.
I used to live in Atlanta. And Reverend Hosea Williams had this saying, a black man doesn't own a single brick downtown.
Okay.
And after you work for a country for 200-300 years for free, and then people can come from other countries and they own this skyscraper and own this area and own that, and we don't own anything. I don't have a problem with ownership. I have a problem with corruption if it's proven. But black people didn't invent corruption. And what's troubling to me is, every time I see somebody, an elected official that's indicted, it's like 95% black people. I mean, are we the only people that are committing corrupt acts in politics? Or is it that, you know, when a black politician like Wiley Price, because I see Wiley Price every Sunday, and Wiley Price comes to church and gets on the pulpit and talks about things that he's trying to do for the community, such as he was trying to get a fair assessment of the CEO of Parkland Hospital, and he talks about that. Then he's talked about he got the County Commission Board to approve a measure that supported reparations. He talks about that, and of course people mentioned Part of the Fest. He's tried to, stand up for the children that are coming in from these South
Okay, now
American
let me ask you something now. Since you said all those things, and I know he's just joined a Friendship West, and so and that was for a reason, because prior to them investigating, I don't think he was a member of
That's
Friendship.
not true. That's not true. He didn't just join.
How long has he been a member of Friendship West?
5-6 years.
Okay, good.
So that's not true. That's not accurate.
That's good.
And see, that's what I'm trying to.
Let me finish saying what I'm saying.
Are inaccurate. They need to be verifiable.
Okay,
that
now
I
here's
can go
the
find somewhere and find something written, documentation. Look it up on the internet, or go to some type of maybe the county courthouse or the library and find documentation that verifies these statements that people make about.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Those statements are verifiable, because I've definitely saw them myself, and the public will see them as well, depending on how the case turns out. But let me ask you a question. When you said something about you agree about ownership, how much money do black churches put in the bank on Monday mornings? In Atlanta, how much money do you think they put in?
Millions.
Okay, so the reason why we don't own anything is because of us. It's not because of anything else, because money buys property. So why haven't we as a people spent our money in building buildings and owning buildings?
Because the leadership doesn't. The black clergy leadership doesn't talk about that. They talk about what they do is they get the choir to singing. The choir sings a couple of songs. They pass the tray 3 or 4 times. They read out of the Bible, and then everybody goes home. And the black clergy doesn't get together and say, we need to start our own bank. We need to build these apartments.
Well, not all black clergymen are like that, because there are churches that own businesses, and so I can't agree. I can say they do that, but not all of us are not like that.
But I mean, when I go to the community, businesses. I don't see anything they own.
Huh?
I mean, when I go to the community, what do they own? I mean, when you say all these hundreds of black churches that they put their money together, they would own apartment complexes, they would own shopping centers, they would own car dealerships, they would own things that you could see.
And why do you think that doesn't happen? Why do you think that
they don't work together? Because each church, instead of being something that's designed to help people, it's a business for the pastor.
Okay.
And what he does is he makes a lot of money. He drives a big fancy car, but the community around his church, the church has no influence on it.
Okay. With that being said, what do you think about helping children? And I'm going to quote scripture. And I know you've been hearing Bible scriptures all during the course of this immigration thing, but the Word of God also says charity starts at home, and then it's shed abroad. And so, what do you think about all of these? Do you think that children are not suffering that are living here in America right now?
That's right. I think they do. We agree wholeheartedly on that. I think that the kids in Chicago are running from gangs. That money needs to be spent on Chicago, New York, Dallas. Dallas needs economic development. I don't think we should spend $4 billion of our money to help those people until we help, particularly since I'm an African American communities, because all you have to do is just drive around the city and you see where the poverty is. And I don't agree with spending that money on those people that are coming from those South American countries. In addition to that, when those kids grow up, they're going to compete with African Americans for jobs. You're going to go into.
Y'all don't have any jobs now.
I beg your pardon?
We don't have any jobs now.
Well, that's right. But you're going to go into Family Dollar, and you're going to walk up to an employee of Family Dollar and ask them for an item, and they're going to tell you they don't speak any English.
They do that now.
They do that now. So you're going to go to the food stamp office, and you're going to say, whoa, there's more Mexicans in here than African Americans get food stamps.
Well, you need to understand also, these are not Mexican Americans that are coming over that are illegal immigrants. That are immigrants. They're just coming from that side of the border, and that's why you haven't seen a lot of Mexican Americans standing up and say anything, because they are not from Mexico. That's what you need to understand. But anyway, I thank you for your call, Leon. We got other callers on the line. Again, give us a call, 972-647-1893. We need your tax-deductible pledges. Again, if you make some good pledges, I'm telling you, Doc, got some good coffee over here. You can text us on your telephone. You know, y'all like to text and drive. I'm not telling you to do that. Don't do that. Do that. Pull over to the side. Wait till you get to the red light. And text KNON 56512 and make your pledge right now. Or you don't have to make your deductible pledge. You can do it in 3 months, but we want you to do it and not just say you do it. Okay, let's go to line 4 and talk to Dr. Edwards. Is that Dr. Dravis Edwards?
Hey, Devin, how you doing?
All right, Doc, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing real good. Just wanted to come in on your show.
And, all
right. You know, I'm about the health side, and of course, Commissioner Price would never work with me at all on the southern sector. The southern sector has hardly no doctors.
Now, Doctor, let me tell the people now, you are a medical doctor who at one point was doing house visits, which a lot of doctors don't do anymore. But you were one of the few doctors that were going through, not just black community, white community, all, and doing home visits, and you couldn't get help after you went through this turmoil with Blue Cross Blue Shield. You couldn't get help from the county commissioner or any of the elected officials.
Well, he fought. Let me tell you, whether you know this or not, Parkland gross income, what they gross annually, what they grossed last year was right at $4 billion. Okay, I didn't say $4 million. They grossed almost $4 billion. They make about they bring in about $450,000 an hour. Okay, so don't let anybody fool you. We don't have in the sector in southern Dallas, the 75216, the highest diabetic zip code in Dallas County. We don't even have a doctor in there. And what Commissioner Price hadn't done anything to help infuse primary care doctors and doctors of primary care, internal medicine, family doctors.
Doctor, let me ask you a question, Doc. Now, and I want people to know, not just Commissioner Price, but the commissioner's job is to be responsible for economic development in Dallas County. They're the ones who. Okay, over on Sign Road, there's been a vacant hospital there for going on 15 or 20 years, and there is no hospital in the southern sector. Baylor was closest thing, but why do you think that hospital was never open and doctors could have practiced right there? And so instead of people running out to Stemmons at Parkland and waiting 3 days for the emergency, I mean, if you sick, it's going to take them 3 days to see you unless it's a gunshot wound. Or they know you died. Why hadn't Dallas County opened that hospital up for that area out there, Pleasant Grove area, in that area there? Why haven't they done that?
Well, you can bring it even closer to home. We had Forest Avenue Hospital there where Dr. Mason.
Well, that's true,
really
right there on Martin Luther King Boulevard.
Right there on Martin Luther King. He couldn't get on staff at Baylor and Parkland and so forth. I can't get on staff at Parkland. I pay county taxes. They said that the University of Southwestern Medical School owns Parkland, so they make all the rules. And that's how they really get around not using the primary care doctors or the doctors in the community having staff privileges at Parkland. Okay, I just need, people need to know. And Commissioner Price he fought against us when we weren't against Blewett Flowers. We weren't against any of the COPC clinics. But the problem is when you put those clinics out there, they discourage young doctors from coming to those neighborhoods. And what we have now are the highest diabetic zip code in the county, in Dallas County.
You know what, Doc? You know what, Doc? I think it's so sad about this, and I thank God for KNON because they are the community radio station that information should have been put out in all the black newspapers. But we don't have any papers that is going to get out and print true stuff. And they want to worry about, they want an advertisement. And one paper is full of men of God and preachers who are, that's okay. But we've got to get our story out. A closed mouth don't get fed. And because nobody knows the story of what happened to Dr. Edwards, because if we all knew that, we would all be in outrage and hold every elected county official possible responsible because, like I said, we don't have any home visit doctors no more. I mean, they still do it now because they're working through certain groups and they'll come and stay 2 minutes. But for them to make an example out of you.
That's because they're making $150 to $200 a visit. It's not because they're hard, and I was doing it when it was $30. Okay, it wasn't a whole lot of. I just cared about the people, and I'm not saying Commissioner Price done, but he hadn't done anything. They just built another $3 billion hospital there in Parkland What do you think if they don't know they're not going to have patients? They've already counted the patients in Oak Cliff.
Exactly.
All those people in Oak Cliff are considered as Parkland patients. That's almost like apartheid to me. I mean, it's sad for us to have this kind of this type of city, and we have nothing to show for it. I mean, we've had opportunities, but you have to have help from people who are in positions. And
that's our responsibility, Doc. At the end of the day, we don't hold anybody accountable or responsible as a people. We sit back silent, and I tell people all the time, silence helps the oppressor and not the oppressed. And in the minute something hits the news, we want to stand up and be a voice and don't even know the whole story or the truth. Your story should be printed all over every newspaper it is, and the entire black community should be upset because there's a rare shortage of African-American doctors in our communities or in this city, period.
Oh, in this city, we don't really have, like I say, in 75216 and 75217, 75215, which is South Dallas, it's about 70,000 people. There's only one primary care doctor for those 70,000 people. Okay. Now, they've got, Martin Luther King, but that's owned by Parkland.
Right.
Those are not, and those clinics don't, they don't really, they can't serve. It's not that they won't. But what you have in North Dallas, people in North Dallas have their own doctor. They don't sit up in no clinic. They can go to their doctor. Their doctor knows them. They know their doctor. We have to go and see people who are getting their loans paid off.
And if you do go to Parkland, you got to schedule an appointment. They'll schedule. If you say, I need to see my doctor, and it's July, they say, okay, the first opening he's got is in October.
In October. And that's the kind of system they have for us.
Yeah, that's what they have
exactly. But you don't have that in North Dallas.
No, you don't.
You don't have. They don't have to say, well, I'm going to see you in 4 months, and you having shortness of breath and stuff like that. But I'm saying that Commissioner Price, you tell me what he's done for the black community in healthcare. And I've not said anything negative against him. I'm just saying I don't see anything he's done. Maybe he's done something I don't know. I know he's made Parker a major institution.
And they're making billions of dollars. And if you ever go in there, like I said,
this is a public hospital. This is not a private hospital.
And when you go in there,
it
takes you a week to see a doctor. And I'm telling you, it's over 1,000 people. It's so close to 1,000 people sitting in Parkland Hospital when you go till it's unbelievable. Now,
actually, it doesn't even seem like it's right in America.
It doesn't. It seems like you're at the border. Because, I mean, it's like, oh, my God, how in the world is all of these people getting in? I remember when you go to Parkland and go see a doctor and come right out. But that's changed due to one of our great presidents. We got about 2 minutes for our first half of the show is over with. But, Doc, we need to continue to get your story out. And we need to hold, as a matter of fact, if callers in, we need to call our district attorney and ask him, why haven't they sit down and talk with you and given you an opportunity to go to court on your case? If regardless of what happens, you deserve as a citizen a right to have a trial hearing. We know the judge that initially had that case ended up with being corrupted itself. But at the end of the day, he's out of his position, and you still haven't had a right to go to have a trial for yourself. Well, we're about out of our first half hour. I thank you, Dr. Edwards, for all you do, and you got our support, and we're going to continue to support you. We'll be right back for the second half. All right, we're back. We're back with our second half of the show. Knon 89.3 FM on your dial, Voice of the People. I am the Reverend Ronald Wright, sitting in for Reverend Miriam Barnett at the Church Information Open Forum. Today we're having our pledge drive. We need some pledge drives, y'all. This is the only information that the community can get is through this particular radio show of Church and Information Open Forum. So you need to give us a call at 972-647-1893. Again, give us a call, 972-647-1893. KNON has a bank draft. If you give us a call, we'll share that with you. You can do it on your text, on your telephone. Text us. KNON has the elite music sponsors, and they're having many shows. And if you want to go to Red Elvis's, or Crawfish Brawl, or Chili Cook-Off, car shows, the annual KNON Blues Fest, the Honda benefits, Mardi Gras combo parties, live broadcasts, harmonica blowouts, the Latin Energy Festival, Rockabilly Review Anniversary Concert, and Fort Worth Blues Fest, and many, many, many more. Many of the KNON events include food from fine area restaurants, so you can go and meet your favorite KNON DJ at these events. And so we need your tax-deductible pledges. They are important. It's 972-647-1893. You got 90 days to make that money, to pay it, or you can text it and pay it a minute. Go ahead, Doc. I got Doc with me here this morning.
I thought I managed to get pry one of these lists out. We got some excellent new items here. We got a new Knon stainless steel traveler's tumbler. That's great to keep things cold, great for keeping things warm. And you take that with you. We got, for the ladies, Knon Bella VOP T-shirts. And it goes from size small through 3X in the lady petite sizes. It's really good. We got Knon folding headphones, so you can even listen to our program to yourself and not bother anybody else.
There you go.
These are all affordable. These are gifts. These are our thank you gifts thank you for donating to the program. So give me a call, 972-647-1893. My time is not limited on the telephone. I can talk to you all morning. So give me a call.
We need those tax-deductible pledges. Come on, people. I don't care if it's just $1 a day or $5 a month. Go ahead and make those tax-deductible pledges to Church Information and Open Forum. I mean, it's a great show, and we get a lot of information out. Let's go. This is our second half hour right here. We need some tax-deductible pledges. Come on, y'all. If you don't pledge, I'm going to take Bonnet to lunch for a week. So make some tax-deductible pledges. Let's go to line one and get Sandra from Dallas. Sandra, you on line one?
Good morning, Reverend Wright. How are you?
Is this my Sandra Crenshaw?
This is Sandra Crenshaw. and I heard you talk about why the newspapers and the black newspapers don't report it.
Okay.
I want you to remember, in 1991, Laura Miller, who was a reporter at the time,
right,
before she became mayor,
right,
published in the D magazine,
mm-hmm.
and she talked about all of the corruption that was going on in 1991, 20 years ago.
Right.
She said that Mr. Price is the most unsavory of any politician that she's ever seen. The corruption, the cars, and the women. And so what happened is, they started picketing Laura Miller and started calling her Horror Laura.
Right.
When you look at the Dallas Morning News, when the Dallas Morning News started publishing negative things about him, he went out there and burned newspapers in front of them. He threatened to picket the Post-Tribune when I was working there. He canceled the contracts of the Dallas Examiner, sued, and took over the Elite News.
Right.
So what happens is that people were afraid to say anything about him. And so that's the reason why I appreciate you this morning trying to point out that Mr. Price is not Jesus. I've been so disappointed when you ask people, what has Mr. Price done? And if you pay attention to what he was picketing about, it was never for the poor and the oppressed.
That's right.
It was always about somebody's job. When he was out there in front of Townview, it wasn't about the fact that the kids at J.N. Irvin can't read and write in the fourth grade. It was about one of his women friends who was demoted, was out there picketing DISC. When you look at him picking out at Parkland, it wasn't about the health, Dr. Edwards. It was about a woman who got demoted out there, one of those doctors. Come on, Dr. Edwards, you want to tell us all about it. That's what he was picketing for.
So,
now,
Sandra, what do you think about how our people react to our man downtown? And I asked that question.
That's because they don't know.
And you're a former councilwoman yourself. I'm going to ask you, what has the commissioner done? And you're a former councilwoman, so you've been involved in political part of Dallas for years. What has the commissioner done since he's been in that office?
I just got to telling you that the commissioner, and remember, I'm one of the few that went out there and said that he talk black and sleep white. Let's just go from where he is right now. O.J. Simpson, when he jumped out with Shapiro as his attorney, blacks say, The nation said, no, if you can't have no black attorney and pay a black attorney, then how do you expect to get some support from black people? Al Lipscomb, when he went to trial, he had to hire Scotty Allen to give some money to a black lawyer. So why does John not have a black lawyer? Huh? Why you don't have no black lawyer?
Did you know about the story on how Al got investigated? Because we were told that some particular person, I know for a fact.
No, ask me and I'll tell you how he got it.
I'm just saying, Marvin Crenshaw was once said that he heard Al talking on the phone to a particular person, and he asked him, "Why would you call the feds on me? I've never done anything to you." Who that person was, I don't want to say because I don't actually know, but we heard it was the person that might be on the news now.
Well, what happened was Mr. Lipscomb had a son-in-law who had a business, okay? And he was skimming off the top on the pretrial release bonds, okay?
Okay.
And the Dallas County District Attorney has the discretion of whether or not to prosecute you, okay? Now, when you hear black people talk about they don't see no white people getting prosecuted, let me tell you what happened. When a government official gets caught with their hands in the cookie jar, they tell them, turn your resignation in.
Right,
okay?
right.
Step down from office. When you see an elected official say, I'm resigning for personal reasons, that's when they got the hands in the they get the hands in the cookie jar. Mr. Price won't sit down. He wants to show out. He wants to be seen. He wants to challenge them. And that's the reason why Sarah Saldana went and picked him up. You know, she asked him a month ago, you want to come on in? He said, no, he wasn't going. So they didn't have no choice. Everybody else gets to go in on their own. You see him walking.
Well, let me ask you something, Senator. What do you think about the fact that at one point we didn't see him, but as the investigation was going on, he showed up everywhere?
He's going now at one point. Oh, that is because in 2001, okay, y'all got to remember, in 2001, when he was messing with Sheriff Bowles, the spotlight was on an investigation about the meat contract with the jail. And Mr. Price said, all I did was have a salad and a steak, okay? So they subpoenaed Mr. Price's bank records. At that time, he had, I understand, $1 million in cash, land, and cars in his mama's name. In his mama's name, okay? And so the gentleman that owned the company then had a heart attack and died. So my understanding, they told John then, sit down. See, white people do not care about what John Wiley Price does. See, $1 million, even today, when they talk about all this corruption that goes on in our government and whatever, $1 million ain't no whole bunch of money, really and truly. It's not a whole bunch of money. And it wasn't taxpayers' money. It was these people's money, okay?
When you say these people's money, who do you mean by that?
It was the company's money. It was the inland port that they asked for, and it was $500,000 a piece. Not $500.
No, we said $500,000. No, we said $500,000. Yeah.
It was $1.5 million and a percentage of the profit.
Right.
Okay.
Now, what do you think about that? And I got some more calls on the line, but I want to ask you, what do you think about the fact that they ended up going bankrupt about that because they couldn't start it? But what do you think about that as far as us not having ownership versus jobs?
Okay. See, the deal is that I want to emphasize. The commissioner, we pay him. See, the taxpayers pay him $126,000 a year. We pay him. He can live a good life off of $26,000. His job is not so much about bringing economic development, but to pay out of our taxpayer money for the infrastructure for these businesses, okay? So he wouldn't allot the money to go to build the roads and the bridges that this man needed. And then he held it up. The man went to Eddie Bernice Johnson. She paid for it out of our federal tax dollars. And then he said, oh, well, you got to do another study. You got to tell us your master plan. And he kept on putting these humps in these roads, you see, roadblocks for him to get it, and then went in there with the end run, we'll make everything happen for you. And that's what makes me mad, is because when you talk about Drive Edwards or me or our black newspapers that were picketed and contracts canceled and whatever, black people didn't come outraged. Did nobody take him to the DA when he was raping women, beating women, fleecing the poor? Did nobody take him to the DA? And what's racist about this whole picture is that white folks only prosecute him when he crossed one of them. And so I knew all along all we had to do was wait until he crossed the wrong white person, and then he was going to get strung up. I want to say about all these people that are running around on these radios talking up about John. On Sunday morning.
Does this have anything to do with race?
No. Let me just say this. On the newspaper article, they went and found Gomer Jeffers, the black newspaper reporter. He went out and on the people that he interviewed were politicians. You know they weren't going to say nothing negative about John Wiley. Reverend Gerald Brooks, champion of the homeless, loved him. But he wrote in the paper that John consoled his family and visited him while he was sick. But Reverend Britt cannot point to one deed that he or Dallas County has advocated for the poor and the homeless in America. But Reverend Freddie Haynes stood up in the pulpit on his church. And by the way, ask somebody why John no longer is a member of St. Luke's United Methodist Church. Yeah, he joined Fresh Air West and goes around to Ricky Rush's church. He's been doing that for about 5 years now. But go back and ask him why he's no longer at St. Luke's United Methodist Church. But anyway, Freddie Haynes stood up in this church and likened John to Jesus. And I want to close with this.
Okay.
The preacher said nothing of John's wrongdoing, nothing about repenting, nothing about humility or asking for mercy. Jesus was not a custodian of the law that abused his powers. Jesus did not fleece the poor, bribe the judges, rape the women, and nor did he lust for wealth.
All righty. Thank you for your call, Sandra. That's Sandra Crenshaw. Thank you for your call. Again, this is Pledge Week. Interesting show. I didn't want us all to focus on Commissioner, although that's the hottest item going on. We want to talk about our immigration children. And we'll talk also about the Jason Harrison case where the police shot him. They shot him in the back, and I know Jason was he had mental issues going on, but they've requested for the cameras because both officers supposedly had cameras on their uniforms, but the camera from the officer that done his shooting, they said there's some problems with it, so they don't have that. But the other camera they do, which doesn't actually show what took place. And so there's another issue that we need to address here in Dallas is about the Jason Harrison situation by Dallas Police Department, and we need to kind of really start holding. We got to start holding our chief accountable for some of these unarmed shootings. I mean, that's number 56, and not one officer has been indicted. Let's go to line 1 and say hello to Doc. Is that Doc on line 3? Okay, Doc. Hello, Doc. Doc going, Doc gone. How about Albert? On line 4. Albert, you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, good morning, sir.
Morning to you, sir, and I want to congratulate you on what you're doing because, believe me, it's needed been said a long time, and I want to congratulate you because you're telling the truth, and it's going to hurt a lot of folks because they don't want to hear the truth. But we can talk about John Wiley Price, but it ain't going to do no good. But now it will because it's in court. But we can go back to him when he was hanging out with Magruder with all those cars and stuff. When Magruder got killed, he got quiet.
That's a long way. You went all the way back then.
I can go with you because I remember him when he had all them cars and stuff spread it out down through South Dallas, but he wasn't doing the doggone thing with South Dallas because he was hooked up with him over at that club. I can go back to the part about it is I know him. The point about was when John Pawn Shop was out there in South Dallas. He put the pawn shop in there for 24 hours because him and John was,
Well, we fought against that. I fought against that through Diane Ragsdale is because there was never a reason for any pawn shop to be open 24 hours. They had just infiltrated the community with crack cocaine, and people were doing whatever they could do to get the cocaine, and what they were doing was setting the stage for our senior citizens to be robbed and murdered, and then their houses to be broken, and then to go pawn it. And so I was a part of shutting down the 24-hour pawn shop.
Yeah, but I'm asking you this: why didn't you shut Diane Ragsdale down before she got busted? Because we all know what she was, her and Rufus Shaw. But the point about it was nobody done anything about it because we was always saying the man downtown. Like the lady said, just because the man downtown, that don't mean he's doing anything for his out-of-town folks out here in the suburbs. We look for the people who build all those apartments out there that was very nice and still is on 7th Street out there in Camp Wilson.
Okay.
They come out there talking about doing something for the South Dallas. They don't want to do nothing for South Dallas. They come out there saying, we thought they're going to put a grocery store out here with all these poor black folks that live out here. All these poor black folks that live out here, you come out here with a high-low grocery. One of the highest things you can put in the neighborhood and another service station.
What area is that? Right
there on 7th Street, right down Paul Clinton College.
Is that Tanel Atkins district?
Yes.
Okay, again, what do we do about holding our elected officials accountable? We got 1 minute. Okay, what do we do about holding our elected officials accountable? Let me tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to put you on hold. We're going to go on a break, and I'll get back. I'm going to come right back with you.
All right, sir.
All right. All right, we're back. We're back to Church Information Open Forum, 89.3 FM, Voice of the People. I'm Reverend Wright in for Reverend Barnett. Let's go back to line 4. Albert, are you there still?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you now go ahead and finish saying what you got. What were you saying?
I was just speaking on the Southern District because I was at Skyline Ranch when they built the university out there. They didn't want to progress for the blacks in the neighborhood, and John Wiley Price didn't stand up for any of that because they cut the sewage line off, but people could not improve their land out to Skyline Ranch. He didn't stand up for that either. It was all because it's all about his pocket. I knew him from different places. I ran into him because, he only swung to certain people. But I'm just saying, in the Southern District, when they put the university out there, they want black folks to sell land across the street where the houses are so they can build a dark turnaround for the train, but they wouldn't do a thing for Paul Quinn, and it's sitting over there in the dark.
I agree. Now let me ask you.
I just don't understand this.
So is this thing about race?
No, it's about him putting money in his pocket.
So it's about right and wrong and not race.
No,
I'm glad. We need to have. And Sandra just called a few minutes ago, and we need to put that out because it has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with right and wrong and justice.
Let me ask you one question. I'm gonna get off and let somebody else talk. On that little strip mall down there right across from Blues Palace, who people think owns that? A lot of that is Don Ryder, was part of John Wiley Price, but Diane Ragsdale, her little group. They bought the stuff and released it back to the city because it was cheap property, and they making a profit. They ain't got to work the rest of their life. So what are they building? They build it right there for themselves. It has nothing to do with race. It's about self.
And so when are we going to start holding those elected officials accountable?
As soon as these churches get off it and say, hey, you know what? We just stand up in the neighborhood like we're supposed to do. This is what churches are supposed to do. You get taxpayer money to stand up and say something besides say, I got a brand new car.
Well, you had a mayor. You had an elected mayor that said that standing up and fighting and organizing was something in the past, and we need to do that again. And because he made that statement, that kind of caused the black community to sit down and do nothing. But silence helps the tormentor and not the tormented. Thank you for your call.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Again, it's the pledge drive. We need your pledge drive. We're coming up on line 2 with the concerned citizen. But give us a call, 972-647-1893. We need your pledge drive. That's 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2 and get concerned citizen right quick. Thank you, concerned citizen, for holding on as long as you have. Can you hear me? Okay, you might have to hold on a little longer. Hello. Okay, concerned citizen, give us a call back. Okay, he's on line one. Okay, let's go to line one. Doc, is that you again, Doc?
Yeah.
Okay, what's going on?
I believe John went down to the school board and spoke. I saw that on TV.
Okay.
Nobody said anything about that.
Okay, what did he speak about? What was that about?
About the corruption that was going on down there with the superintendent when they first hired the superintendent Miles.
Oh, but Superintendent Miles is still there, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still there, but
okay.
I don't trust him as far as I can see him.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing with that. Not just him, but we just elected a good board member, but we as a people are held accountable. John was down there. I was down there with him. And there were a couple of more elected officials that showed up. But until we start being held accountable for the things that we need to do, you're going to always get people we can't trust. Mike Miles might have been brought down here by the mayor to shut down the public school district. But a lot of people, when we talked about that and Bunny and them and all of them talked about it on the show, they said, well, I don't have any kids in school. Because you don't have any children in school don't mean you shouldn't be a voice.
Okay. Do you know that they're going to build a big clinic over in the southern sector that is an extension of Parkland?
In the southern sector where?
Over in South Dallas. They're going to build a big clinic. It's the extension of Parkland.
Well, we haven't heard that, and we just got.
Yeah, but it's in the news. It's a lot of things.
It's going to be in. It's going to be in South Dallas and southern Dallas.
It's going to be in the southern sector.
Oh, so that very well could be Pleasant Grove or Box Springs.
In the southern sector. They're building a clinic, a big clinic to serve people.
In what area? What property area is big enough for them to do that with?
I don't know, but if you would investigate, you'll find out it's true. They're going to build that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Are you sure they said South Dallas or the southern sector of Dallas?
Southern sector.
Oh, that southern sector could be Pleasant Grove. It could be Oak Cliff. It could be almost like Box Spring. Anything south of Dallas is what they're talking about.
Okay, it's going to be in the southern sector. They said.
Okay.
A big clinic to serve the people of South Dallas. Now, I don't know if John had anything to do with that.
Well,
but it's a lot of things that's going on that we don't know about. They're not talking about it.
Well,
so we need to find out before we.
Well, when you say we, what do you mean by when you say we don't know about a lot of things? There are a lot of people that are involved.
A lot of things that's going on that they're keeping from black people. They don't listen to a lot of the news, and it's a lot of things that's going on.
Well, we don't have media. Why don't our papers put it out?
They even find out these things.
Well, why isn't it that our newspapers and our black press don't
put it in there?
Why is that?
I don't know. You know they're not going to put it in the morning news. That's a newspaper.
But how many black papers do we have in Dallas? We got several black papers. Why don't they put these stories in?
They don't get that news.
Why? What do you mean they don't get it?
They keep it from them.
Well, not necessarily, because a lot of things that justice seekers do, and we've done a lot of things over the last 10, 11 years in this city, I have, and the press release go out to the black papers, but they never show up.
Yeah.
They never show up to tell any of the stories. Only until after the white press does it is when the black papers start putting the press in there.
But a lot of things that I believe he votes on that we don't even know about down at the commissioner's court. And we're saying he haven't done anything. We don't know that. It's a lot of things that he vote on that is to help the community, black community.
Well, when you look at the black community, and you don't see,
before we find out a lot of these things, and I don't think that's right.
But Doc, when you don't see anything economic development in your community, how can you say that?
I don't have to see it.
Well, how's anything going to be getting done if you don't see it? I know he's partnering with.
He's on a lot of things for black people. We don't see it.
Okay, well, give us an example of one right quick.
I can't give you an example. But I know that the man haven't been down there 30 years and haven't done anything for us.
Well, why do you say that? You think that's not possible?
That he's been down there all those years and he haven't done anything. Why do you think the people keep voting him in? If he hasn't done anything for us, why do we keep voting him in?
Because we don't hold anybody accountable, and we only vote on names. That's no secret, because because of what John does publicly and it makes the newspaper and it looks good to some of us, we simply vote on him because of name, not because of what he does. He's not the only somebody get votes on by name. You vote on Eddie Bernice Johnson every year for what she's running for, Royce West for what he's running for. So there's several people, Helen Giddens, that get ran on simply by name. But if you say, and I'm not saying they don't do anything because I know they do, but if you ask them what they do, if you ask you as a sister, what has Royce West done? I need to be able to tell you what my elected officials have done.
With Royce West and John Wiley Price to try to improve a lot of things in the black community.
Okay, what district do you live in?
A lot of people didn't go to those meetings.
What district do you live in?
I used to live in East Dallas, but now I'm off of Hamilton.
Okay, who's your city councilman?
I don't know right now.
Off of Hamilton in East South Dallas, or Hampton in Oak Cliff?
In Oak Cliff.
Dwayne Caraway.
Okay.
Okay, tell me what your Dwayne too, and I know your councilor has done something.
Yeah. Dwayne, I don't know anything Dwayne done.
Okay.
Yeah, the truth about it, I don't know anything he done outside of the bags, you know.
Okay, and see, why wouldn't you want to? Why should you know that and you stay in his district? Yeah, and Dwayne has been a part of some things, but I'm just saying, in his district, shouldn't you know what your elected officials doing since you voted for him?
But I don't know too much of what Dwayne Caraway's done since he's been in there.
Well, Dwayne could probably argue with you and say he's done quite a bit in the district.
I saw him on television the other day. He was talking to him about picking up trash and stuff like that. First time I saw him on TV a few days ago about this trash and stuff that need to be picked up in these houses and things that need to be torn down. I saw that on TV.
And so what do you think about that?
I think that's nice if you get on top of it.
Okay. And picking up the trash is our responsibility because it's our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so you got to teach your kids, quit throwing paper on the streets and put them in the trash can.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, if it's gotten to the point to where it's out of control, you need to hire some people to do that. And there are plenty of men looking for jobs who can't get jobs because of their past mistakes. And so you could get them a job. And so if you were true to the people that elected you, you would try to create that. Thank you for your call.
Okay.
All righty. Okay, that was Doc again. But we need your contribution, your tax deductible pledges. Give us a call, 972-647-1893. I know we got some hot topics going, but we need some hot pockets going with some of these donations from you. So give us a call. Let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Roots, Dr. Mountain Creek, Southwest Dallas.
Good morning, Pastor Wright. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Now, you know that wasn't a fair fight just a minute ago. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, okay, what do you mean? Which one wasn't a fair fight?
The last caller. Come on now, Dr. Wright. Now, you know good and well, somebody don't even know who they representative is on the city council. They don't know what district that they voted. Now, Doc, now, come on now. Y'all love you and you love me. You love all of us. But, Doc, that wasn't a fair fight now, okay?
That's true. Okay.
Okay, all right. Now, I just a little laugh with you, but I mean, come on now. But anyway, but Doc, I'm glad you did that because really, that brother is an excellent microcosm. He is the poster child for the typical person of African descent in America, particularly in the Confederate South. He is just absolutely right. And it was good that you did that. Because in other words, what we don't do, we have no political education, none whatsoever, Doc.
Right.
Now, here's why I said there's a preface. This is what I want you to do, because I know, see, when I came in from Little Ark, Arkansas, on KBF radio station 88.3, you and Dr. Barnett, were two, and Brother Crenshaw, and Dr. and Van Ragsdale, and y'all were the household names that I found out about in terms of people who have grassroots credibility. Y'all had and or have street credibility, and that's what I heard about. That's what I came looking for from a little funky town in Arkansas. Okay. Now here's what I'm talking about. Now you talk a lot about not just you, but Sister Juanita was last week, and I called her, tried to get her to, to address something that was absolutely valid, and talking about how in heaven is 12% of the population, even if the infants could vote, even if the blind and the infirm and the brothers and sisters that are in the concentration camps throughout this country, so-called prisons, How could 12% of the population, even if we all vote as a block, you know Willie Lynch ain't going to let us ever vote as a block again. How could that have any impact on any election other than where we are 50% or more of the population, or the voting population? And Sister Wallace, but she just sidestepped the whole thing, and we were telling her, me and her and Dr. Barnett talking about how every white person ain't a racist. Well, here's what I'm saying to you. Is that, tell people, Doc, how do you hold political office holders accountable? In other words, give us a 1, 2, 3. Because I've tried, and you tried, to talk to John Wiley Price, to Dwayne Caraway, to Terrell Bolton, and to whoever else, and you know that you got gatekeepers from the back to the front of, their offices. And you can tell us how we are going to hold somebody accountable when we got all these barriers that exist between us. And when we go down to City Hall, we got somebody telling us that we ain't going to talk to them a certain way. Please educate people, Brother Wright. Tell us how we're going to do that. Because if you tell us how we can do it, you'll find out, that ain't no way for us to do it, Doc.
Well, first of all, there is a way. We're going to do it this year, and we're going to form a PAC. And that PAC is going to be of people who we want to sit in elected seats, and we're going to sit down with the community and say, we're going to hold you responsible and accountable for everything that is going on. And if you go down there and you try to act like you don't want to do, we tell you, you won't serve but one term. And that's just the way, and it's about accountability. You got to give elected officials, this is what we expect coming out of our district and out of our precincts. And if you can't do none of these things, we don't want you there. But as far as voting for people, because my name is such, and I think if Sister Juanita Wallace is running for the city council in the southern sector, and I'm just saying that she didn't say she was, then we've got to give her a list of things that she needs to do. Not because she's over the NAACP, but we want to hold you accountable for what you do. And that goes for every elected official that we run for. And we've never done that. People knock on your door and say, will you vote for me? Okay, what are you going to do when you get in there? We don't tell them anything.
And also, Doc, we didn't do this, and I'm gonna get off the phone. Is that how about us trying to look into the election laws and find out what recall recourse? Because we don't need to wait until 2 years or 4 years.
Absolutely.
To get these symbols out of office, we need to start a process and politically educate our people how we can recall them, Doc. You know what
I agree with you, and that's something that we're going to put together going. Thank you for your phone.
Part of the pack.
All right, thank you.
Pack, Doc.
Okay, you will. I'm going to give your number out to Justice Seekers at the end of the show, and so you can give us a call, and you can definitely be a part of it, because there's power in numbers. Thank you for your call. All right, again, we need your tax-deductible pledges, 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. You can do it on the bank draft. You can do it at the KN local bank, Next Bank. Call us now and tell us what you like to start this bank draft. You can do it with your own checking account or your own saving account. An automatically monthly draft will occur from your account. You can donate $1 a day, and that's $30 a month. And that would help continue to allow us to be the voice of the people, because you have an opportunity to call and express your voice and your opinion, which is very important, but we just can't talk about it. We got to be about it. The same thing with our tax-deductible pledges. Call in. You got 90 days to pay those pledges back, or you can do it immediately, but we need them so we can keep this show going on. I don't know any other show other than this one that allow you to be a voice in the community. Okay, with that being said, let's go to line. Is line 1 Raymond? Okay, let's go to Raymond on line 1.
Hello.
Good morning, Raymond. How you doing?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I've been listening to your program, and I do appreciate what the people are finally getting the format to say something about what some of these politicians are doing to us.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you, I'm a white guy, but I'm for people that want to work good jobs. And I know for a fact, all the times, 60 years I've lived in Dallas, that jobs have never gone to the southern sector. And I'm going to tell you something. $64,000, $40,000 a year per jobs were available for the southern sector, but John Wiley Price, it was called the inland port. They wanted to put in the southern sector.
Exactly.
And that's 64,000 jobs for the southern half of Dallas. And John Wiley Price would not allow that to come in.
Raymond, that was my argument with that. We got 1 minute before we go to break, and I'm gonna keep you on the line, Raymond. Just hold on line right here. We're gonna come back and get with you. We'll be right back. We're gonna take a break right quick. All right, we're back. We're just about wrapping it up. The Church Information Open Forum, 89.3 FM, Voice of the People. And remember now, it's pledge time, and we need your pledge. It's important that we continue to keep these shows on. Beth says she needs you guys to call and donate some dead presidents. I mean, let's go ahead and make a donation. We need those calls. Let's go back to line one. And was it Raymond? Let's get Raymond again. Hello, Raymond. Are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Raymond, I wholeheartedly agree with you, because that was one of the things. That was 64,000 jobs. And even if race has nothing to do with it, out of that 64,000 jobs, if 5 black families would have gotten jobs, that would have been 5 black families that wouldn't be struggling today. And for us
they're
to
going to build
lose,
that in the southern sector, so I would think more than 5.
well, that was just giving them the bare minimum. But, with that being said and done, can you imagine? I mean, that's what got us involved, was that the inland port would have created a lot of jobs in the southern sector. Could have made the southern sector a much better place to live in, and people need to know that. And so this morning, by the grace of God, we're putting that information out there, and it's unfortunate that all of this comes out, but there are a lot of people who are struggling today that, and one of the callers said that we don't have the poor. At one point, there was no poor. It was all middle class, and now because of poor leadership and because of situations like that, now we've created a whole new poor society. So I thank you very much for your call. And was there anything else you needed to say?
Well, I just want to say it's a sorrowful thing for a man to get elected by people, and he kills 64,000 jobs for their people could have had by now. And I just think that's a terrible thing, and they need to consider that when they vote. That's true. That's a part of our lesson we're going to learn. It's going to be a different election year this year. I promise you that. Like I said, we're putting together the pack. We thank you, and God bless you. Speaking of God bless, I want to God bless and thank James Smith and Albert Blue for your contributions. We needed those. Thank you for your contributions and pledges. We need them from you guys. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Who am I speaking with?
Unknown.
Unknown. How are you doing, Unknown?
I'm not doing too well right now. Mr. Wright.
Yes, ma'am.
I have never in my life heard of a person like you and Sandra Crenshaw assassinate a person. And it's not just because of John Wiley.
Not assassination.
I'm embarrassed for both of you all. You're supposed to be a minister. She's supposed to be educated. And both of y'all was evil today.
Not assassination. Not assassination, ma'am.
That man's character.
No, I didn't. My point has been. My point has been.
God said what comes out of your heart. It's not what condemn a man that come out of his mouth. It's what comes out of his heart. And I am really surprised at you.
We haven't personally assassinated him.
You've been doing all the talking. Let me tell you this.
Okay.
Mr. Burnett and his son, they had issues going, and they were more intelligent how to treat people and talk about the person than you two. And you are supposed to be a minister. I'm telling you the truth. It was pitiful today. Whether that man guilty or innocent, you do not tear your brother down like that.
Not turn him down.
And then she said that he raped people.
Well, she said that. I didn't say that.
Well, she said it, but you...
I didn't say that. She said that.
Listen to me.
Well, you're accusing me of something I didn't say.
That's your problem. You think you know everything.
I didn't say.
Ain't nobody tell you nothing.
Well, I didn't say
you did.
I didn't say. Well, you need to look me up if you don't know what I did.
I'm going to tell you what you did.
If you don't know what I did, look me up.
I'm going to tell you what you did. When Miss Wiley was on there, everything people said positive about John Wiley Price, you had something negative to say about it. You sound like you're jealous of him. You said negative about Caraway a while ago.
I haven't said anything negative about Dwayne. I support Dwayne Caraway.
You're so busy running your mouth.
I support Dwayne Caraway.
Right, and you tearing down people. I don't care what race and what color it is. You see how that last caller before me, he didn't tear that man down. He talking about the southern sector. John Wiley Price has somebody over him. Everything ain't John Wiley Price's fault. I
It's
don't do
not.
it personally.
You're right. You're right about
See,
that.
and
Nobody never blamed John Wiley Price for everything.
But God gonna hold y'all accountable.
Well,
and you can't get no pleasure because you've been running your mouth.
Well, God hasn't. Everybody hasn't called Dwayne. We haven't hold John accountable for everything that goes on in the southern sector because that's not his responsibility. And I don't know if your radio is messed up or not, but I haven't said anything negative other than the fact that what John done with the inland port. And I don't care if it was John or whoever else it is. And it's because of the mentality and attitude that y'all have that we're struggling and going through what we're going through right now. So we haven't condemned John. I didn't say that he's guilty of whatever they said. I said I hope he's not guilty, but if he is, I want you to call back and tell me what you're going to think then. Thank you for your call. That's our problem. We want to take it compassionate and being passionate. Closed mouths don't get fed. It's because of that kind of mentality we're in the situation we're in right now. So if you want to know what I did, Google me and look me up or call me. I can certainly tell you. And it sure is printed as to what I've been doing for you in this city for the last 7, 8, or 9 years. Okay, let's go to James Smith, Palestine. James, how you doing?
Yes, good morning, Reverend Wright. I've got an earful of Metroplex up there. We have our own concerns down here in Palestine. I'm glad Reverend Barnett getting a break, and I appreciate all that I'm hearing this morning, and everybody is good and bad and everything, and everything works together. So we appreciate that. But down here in Palestine, we have put out a recall on our mayor and one of the council people, and one guy suggested we clean house, but we have some concerns down here also. And early on in the program, you mentioned about there was some kind of corrupt people doing things they shouldn't do. And a while back, there was a talk mentioning of Bishop College and Paul Quinn.
Right.
Now, I usually get a Dallas newspaper through some friends, and sometimes when I'm up there, I read in the library at the MLK. But that was a story about a preacher that was a landfill they were trying to put in up that way over there by, I think it's Still Simpson Stewart. And this preacher from over in that area had sold the people out according to the newsprint that I have. I still have that sold in my file, but my concern is not only is the elected officials to be held accountable, but the one that took that money bag down there to those white institutions on Monday, like we've been talking about with Reverend Barnett and what we mentioned a little bit today on the program. And if we all come together, teachers, preachers, and the ones that walk the street up there, the homeless, and T.D. Jason, people like that has an influence, we can. I hear all the problems that's been announced today, but we need a viable solution that will work for everybody.
And we get that viable.
Your efforts and what you're doing.
And thank you, James, and I would thank you for the fight that you're doing down there in Palestine, Texas, because that's what it takes is being a voice, not sit back silently until something happens. You've been a voice down there, and we thank you, Reverend Barnett, and I say thank you for listening, being a voice for Palestine, Texas. Thank you for your call.
We're ready to travel either way.
All right. Thank you for your call. Again, we need to pledge at 972-647-1890. Okay, 1893. That's 972-647-1893. Let's go ahead and go to the job line on line one, and get that going right quick. Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Hello?
Can you hear me? Is this my job line?
Yes, yes.
Okay, go ahead, doctor. I got you.
Good morning.
You doing all right?
Yes, been doing good. How about yourself?
I've been doing good. We got any jobs out there? We got any jobs out there?
We do on this morning on SAT Job Line. The Solutions and Actions Today Job Line brought to you every Saturday morning during church information and open forum here on Knon 89.3, the voice of the people. This morning on the job line, we have Simple As is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.siplast, that's SIPLAST.com. Once again, the Siplast is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.siplast.com. Crown Packaging Corporation is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.crownpack.com. Once again, that's Crown Packaging Corporation is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.crownpack.com. Rochester Gauges is looking for Rochester Gauges Incorporated in Texas. Look for customer service representatives. Asking to apply online at www.rochestergauges. That's ROCHESTERGAUGES.com. Once again, that's Rochester Gauges Incorporated of Texas. Look for customer service representatives. Asking to apply online at www.rochestergauges.com. CCI Training Center is looking for customer service representatives. Asking you to apply online at www.cci-training.com. Once again, that's CCI Training Center is looking for customer service representatives. Asking you to apply online at www.cci-training.com. AAA Automotive is looking for emergency roadside customer service. They're having an emergency roadside customer service job fair Tuesday, August 5th, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at 6555 North State Highway 161, Irving, Texas. Bring an updated resume. That's AAA is having an emergency roadside customer service job fair Tuesday, August 5th, 2014, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. 6555 North State Highway 161, Irving, Texas. Bring an updated resume. Andrews Distributing Company is looking for warehouse order selectors. They're asking you to apply online at www.wfa.chronostm. That's KRONOSTM.com. Once again, it's Andrews Distributing Company is looking for warehouse order selectors. They're asking you to apply online at www.wfa.KRONOSTM.com. Capel Rug is looking for warehouse associates. They're asking you to apply in person at the Dallas store at 4205 McEwen Road, Suite 200, Dallas, Texas. As Capel Rug is looking for warehouse associates, asking to apply in person, 4205 McEwen Road, Suite 200, Dallas, Texas. Honeywell is looking for warehouse workers, asking you to apply online at www.careers@honeywell.com. Once again, as Honeywell is looking for warehouse workers, asking you to apply online at www.careers@honeywell.com. UPS is looking for warehouse workers. They're asking to apply online at www.ups.com/careers. Once again, that's UPS is looking for warehouse workers. They're asking you to apply online at www.ups.com/careers. If you are a child-loving, patient, and energetic individual and would like to work in the daycare setting, the number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. If you are a child-loving, patient, and energetic individual and would like to work in the daycare setting, the number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. If you are a person affected by addiction and needs assistance with your recovery efforts, or an ex-offender trying to make the transition back into mainstream society and need assistance with job search, the number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Once again, that number is 214-634-2722. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. Let me repeat that. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. Today is also a great day to make a pledge to church information in open forum and follow through with it. Today is also a great day to make a pledge to church information in open forum and follow through with it. The late, great Bob Marley once said, get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. And with that, we bring our SAT job line to a close.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Greg Barber, for that information. And we need those jobs. I need to get out there. Again, we need those tax-deductible pledges coming in, 972-647-1893. Got a couple of minutes coming. We're going to rush through these calls. Let's go to Stephen on line 2. Good morning, Stephen.
How you doing this morning, brother?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
All righty. I just want to say this real quick. I don't find nothing wrong with was that Crenshaw? That said what she said. I find something wrong with that sister, what she said. If someone needs to be held accountable, they need to be held accountable. And she sounds like one of them good Christians. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. It's amazing how people tell you what you're supposed to be and what they supposed to be. Okay, let's go to line 3 and say Good morning to Dwayne out of Lancaster. Dwayne, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Reverend Wright. I live over here in Lancaster, and these people over here, man, they don't fight for nothing. This mayor and city council over here charging people $150 for water bill, and I try to get them to go out for the city council, and they don't do nothing over here.
Is there a separate water division from the city? It's two different. The water district in the city.
No, it's water from the city.
It all falls up under the auspice of the city?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
And it's just horrible over here, Reverend Wright. I mean, the mayor got a vendetta against me. I haven't had water for 3 years, which I have, place to go, wash up. But I went up there before the city council to talk for a man that was 80 years old, had to go get a second job. And this city manager down there, she's so vindictive down there. It's horrible over here. And they are getting what they deserve, because they don't go down there and fight for nothing.
Well, I've heard about your city manager down there. She's not supposedly real proud of her chief of police, who is a lady, who's an African American lady, but that she gives the appearance of being prejudiced against her because she's a female and holding that chief of police position. But I tell you what you do, if you got a problem, just give Justice Seekers a call, and we'll look into it and see what we can do. And for all of y'all who's got a problem, give us a call at 972-779-3549. That's 972-779-3549. That's Justice Seekers Texas. You can call and talk with one of our representatives, and we'll see what we can do for you. And we're getting close to wrapping up. It's been a great show. Again, we need those tax-deductible pledges. 972-647-1893. Go ahead, Super.
Hello, Doc. This is Doc here. Our phone lines were so jammed there we couldn't get to everybody who wanted to pledge. So you can still call us up and tell me who you want to pledge to Church Information Forum after we go off the air. So I will be here to take your pledge. Back to you, sir.
All righty. I want to thank you. I am Reverend Ronald Wright, Executive Director of Justice Seekers Texas, Senior Pastor of God's Community Church of Joy. Our services start at 11:30 at 7513 on Luster Drive. You can come. Don't forget to come on and call back, even though we're after our call, and make those donated pledges and say bad things about me if you want to. But just make a donated pledge, all right? Thank you, and God bless you.
KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people. Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.